Hi there, welcome to The Project. Tonight, as the police investigations continue, we look at the fallout from two hospital workers and their anti-Semitic video.
If you're always running late, you could have something called time blindness. I promise it's real, Hamish, but what exactly is it?
Plus, from Stranger Things to onstage things, we chat with Keery, aka Joe. Yes, it's spelt with a D.
And the sobering decision to make the 2034 World Cup booze-free. Relax, everyone. We've got 9 years to enjoy some pre-drinks. Let's go. Let's go.
We are live from the lands of the Cooler Nation. I believe sober, Nick Cody is here. And so is Nick Warhurst.
I'm getting as much in as I can.
Yeah, good. You can pace yourself a little bit, but you know, we'll ramp it up towards the end.
It sounded when you said a sober Nick Cody and everyone clapped, I felt like, oh, is this the intervention? They've gone to a lot of trouble. They got Joe here for it.
Well, let's get into today's top stories. And an Australian military aircraft has been involved in a dangerous encounter with a Chinese Air Force jet in the South China Sea. The jet deployed flares within 30 metres of the RAAF P-8 Poseidon as it conducted a routine patrol in international airspace on Tuesday. The incident, described as unprofessional and unsafe, has been raised with Beijing.
There was danger, and had those flares hit the P-8, there was the potential for significant damage to our aircraft.
Just a heads up, you might find the footage in this next story distressing. In Brisbane, a savage attack has left an assistance dog named Ollie with multiple bite injuries. CCTV captured the moment a Rottweiler went for the little cavoodle and knocked his owner off her feet in the process. A hero tradie named Michael raced to Ollie's rescue, managing to snatch him away out of harm's way. Ollie and his mum are recovering. There's no word yet from the local council on the Rottweiler's fate.
Oh, so awful. There's been a clash in the corridors of power in Canberra. Independent MP Zali Steggall confronted senior Labor MP Don Farrell over electoral reforms capping political donations. She interrupted his media conference to criticise the changes.
Now, why don't you tell the Australian people that what is going to happen, the big money that will be in politics, is the public money? Because now the public is paying for the money that you want to still spend during elections. And the only people that will be able to participate in elections will be union members.
Well, with its Heartland support waning, Victoria's state government is resorting to paying influencers more than 100 grand to promote the opening of its $15 billion metro train tunnel. There's already been a series of cost blowouts on the tunnel. It's hoped the influencers can reset public perception about the project.
Look, I'm into this, getting a new audience.
Yeah.
And this might be niche. I'm not sure how much time you spend on TikTok, but like I can imagine I'm already envisaging. And if you need me for marketing, I'm ready. Ready to go. We could get blue-eyed Kayla Jade, who could be talking about her client Peggy Sue as she's driving through one of the big tunnels.
Yeah,
that could work.
There we go.
Three people
the
got
audience
that.
knows. The audience knows. Also, we should copyright that right now.
Absolutely.
That's patented.
I was going to continue to drive to work until some ex-maths contestants did a dance. I'm a train guy.
You famously love influencers, Hamish. Do you think that this would be effective?
I could turn for this.
Wow.
Onto social media.
Whoa, they have so much power.
It's not that influential. I just mean I could take up TikToking.
Yeah, wow.
You know, for 100 grand to go for a train ride. I presume they're not paying them each 100 grand.
No, I think it's overall their budget. What they have to spruik this new system.
Okay.
I think it could work.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Now tonight,
True.
Well, tonight, two nurses at the centre of a viral anti-Semitic video have now been banned from practising anywhere in Australia. And as the community continues to reel, healthcare workers are copping abuse, and some Jewish patients even say they're too frightened to seek treatment.
There is no room for hate in healthcare.
Aussie nurses making their voices heard.
We stand against racism. We stand against bigotry.
Desperate to rebuild trust.
We want to assure Jewish communities that you are safe when you come to New South Wales Health for healthcare.
In the wake of a betrayal by two of their own.
I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You have no idea how many Israeli Hara dog came to this hospital and I sent it to Jahannam.
For real?
Sent it to Jahannam.
This is not us. This is not reflective of us as a profession.
A day on, police are still waiting to talk to Bankstown Hospital nurses Ahmad Rashad Nadia and Sarah Abu Labda as their lawyers negotiate the terms of their interview.
My client sends a very sincere apology to not only that individual but to the Jewish community as a whole.
That apology not enough for Max Vifer, the Israeli content creator at the heart of the video.
I don't know who I can trust anymore, you know, if God forbid I'm in a hospital anywhere, like, can I trust them? If I go under anesthesia, can I trust these doctors?
Vifer agreeing to give New South Wales Police a statement and the unedited footage.
That's the important piece, getting the unedited video, so we get to see it from beginning to end.
The opposition, meanwhile, is calling for Nadia, who came to Australia as a refugee from Afghanistan when he was 12, to have his citizenship stripped.
We've got big problems in this country when somebody like that can become an Australian citizen.
As the shockwaves continue to ripple through the community.
I've had many messages asking things like, should I have my Star of David tattoo removed lest I be in the hands of a paramedic or a nurse or an orderly that holds these sorts of views? People are now transferring elective surgeries to hospitals which they think might be safer for them.
Have staff been copping abuse as a result of this?
Overnight, there were some angry members of the community that did voice their devastation.
We stand for love, we stand for peace, and we stand for solidarity.
We're joined now by Jewish Labor MP Josh Burns. Josh, we heard from the opposition leader there who's called for one of the nurses' citizenships to be revoked. Do you agree with that?
Look, citizenship is a fundamental right, and it's one where to revoke someone's citizenship, it should be taken only in very extreme circumstances. I don't think it warrants in this situation. I think what this situation warrants is exactly what's happened. This person has been stood down from New South Wales Health, effective immediately. These people have been told that they'll never work in one of our health facilities ever again, and the matter has been referred to the New South Wales Police for further investigation. Anyone who goes into one of our health facilities, you know, they need to walk in with confidence that they're going to be treated with care, not bigotry and hate.
If a crime has been committed here, what do you think it is?
Clearly, you know, we just passed laws federally around incitement to violence and potentially, you know, saying directly that someone will bring violence on another person. Those sorts of laws are, you know, may be applied in New South Wales as well. I think that's now a matter for New South Wales Police. But the sort of things that these nurses were talking about also break a whole range of rules around the medical code of practice. I think the first step, which was the most important one, was that they be stood down immediately. And that's exactly what's happened.
I suspect, though, that's part of what's at issue here, though, right, Josh? Because it's not clear what law, if any, has been broken. Do you think the community will accept it if actually these individuals aren't charged with anything, because the law may not actually prevent this? If it turns out they didn't murder anyone, they didn't kill anyone, so far we've seen no evidence that they actually did, then the words alone, heinous as they are, may not be a crime.
Well, what they were, Hamish, was a clear violation of the ethics of what it means to be a nurse or a doctor. It is so fundamental that you look after your patients, that you do your best to treat them, regardless of someone's race or religion or ethnic background. So I think that's the most important thing. It was absolutely appropriate that these people were stood down immediately, and now it's a matter for the police to investigate if any further crimes were committed.
I suspect that probably most people sense this. Something's changed in relation to the broader public understanding of what's going on in relation to anti-Semitism in Australia right now. Do you think it's anything to do with the fact that most of the incidents we've seen haven't had a face? It's been graffiti in the middle of the night, a fire in a car where you don't see an individual doing it. In this instance, it's two faces. Do you think that that's changed something about how Australia sees this issue?
Well, I think anyone watching this issue would have been shocked. And I think it's not just the Jewish community. I mean, anyone who walks into any health clinic in Australia wants to have the confidence that they're going to be treated by a medical professional who will do their best to look after them. So I think that's really shaken people. There has been, you know, over the last 15 months, just the worst anti-Semitism I've ever seen in my lifetime. It goes against everything I love about this country. You know, most Australians don't want to see this sort of anti-Semitism on our streets, and most people want to just get along with one another and to ensure that, especially if they're going to a health clinic, that they will be treated with care and compassion.
Josh, thanks very much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Hamish.
All right, it's time for a break. We'll be back soon.
What's in the protest?
Now, Aussie homeowners are hoping the experts are right and the Reserve Bank will cut rates when it meets next week. Fresh data shows they need all the help they can get. The size of the average Aussie mortgage has hit an all-time high of almost $666,000. New South Wales has the biggest average mortgage, surpassing $800,000 for the first time.
At least one Aussie is on the run from Indonesian police after a group of men started a violent brawl at a popular Bali beach bar. Footage has emerged of the wild fight outside Finn's Beach Club. One man was seen using a heavy bollard as a weapon. Apparently the fight was sparked by an earlier altercation inside the bar. 4 security guards were injured.
All right, let's see what else is making news around the world. Donald Trump says talks to end the war in Ukraine will begin immediately after making phone calls to Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky.
We'll get something done.
But US Defence Secretary Peter Hegseth has flagged Kyiv may have to cede some territory to Moscow to end the war.
Returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano is erupting again, and this time it's putting on a pretty amazing show. Fountains of lava have been bursting out of the volcano's summit crater, shooting about 100 metres into the air. Nearby residential areas aren't under threat. And it seems they don't make gangsters like they used to. A massive anti-crime operation in Sicily this week not only resulted in more than 180 arrests, it also revealed the local mafia family has HR issues. One boss was recorded complaining about the poor quality of young recruits. He was also overheard telling a young mafioso he should take a lesson from the fictional Corleone family and watch the Godfather movies.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I think they need a rebrand.
Oh, yeah?
The mafia. Oh. I think it'll work. You'll get more people in. You could say you get to work with horses.
Oh.
Heads.
For a little bit.
Yeah, you could sort of frame it as being in the restaurant business.
Some fish, you can fish.
Yeah, you could.
Learn the violin.
Exactly, musicals.
Very good.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the youth though, because the boss has told them watch The Godfather. They're 3.5-hour movies. They don't have they can't focus. Is it in TikTok form?
Yeah, cut up for social
media.
media.
The cannoli's gluten-free. You're going to have a lot of questions. Now to Werribee Zoo in Victoria, where the arrival of a group of elephants sounds exactly like the Bucks night I went to last Saturday.
They were celebrating, and they were celebrating coming together again. It was like they'd never left each other. They were just straight into communicating, ear flapping, or touching with each other with their trunks, getting close. Just shows us that they're a really bonded unit.
And like the elephants, my mate Dumbo can pick up peanuts with his trunk. It's a cool party trick. Should get Dumbo on here one night. He'd love it. He'd love a bit of live telling.
You need better friends, Nick. More project after the break.
This is The Project. Welcome back.
Now, are you the type of person who's always late to things no matter how much you try and get out of the door on time? Hello, Georgie Tunney.
Yes, I am.
Well, there might be a reason. It's a phenomenon called time blindness.
Yes,
but
it
the
is.
jury is still out on whether this pseudoscience is a
Whoa,
real
lies.
thing.
Lies.
Whoa. So let's talk about time blindness real quick.
Here are my top 4 tools to not struggle with time blindness.
This is a system I created for my time blindness.
It's the latest pseudoscientific term doing the rounds on the internet.
Can someone explain what exactly time blindness is?
Glad you asked. Time blindness is a psychological phenomenon that refers to difficulty perceiving and managing time.
Symptoms or behaviours could include things like chronic lateness, missing deadlines, and not being able to estimate how much time it takes to get a task done.
Some researchers have linked it to conditions like ADHD. A 2023 analysis of almost 5,000 people with ADHD revealing they had significant impairments in time perception compared to their neurotypical counterparts.
ADHD, right, is at its heart a blindness to time, or technically, to be exact, it is a nearsightedness to the future.
And while time blindness itself isn't a diagnosable condition, some who claim to suffer from it are pushing for workplaces to recognise it.
So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time?
Never had an employer that's willing to accommodate time blindness.
Others hitting back, saying it's a made-up term being used as an excuse for being late.
Time blindness is not real. I'm so sorry. The excuse, it's a medical condition.
This is
inconsiderate people who are unorganized and late and choose to then say they suffer from something that doesn't exist.
But either way, if you find the minutes of the day slip right out of your hands, there are some things you can do to get them back.
Use alarms on your phone. Use visual calendars to actually block out the days. We encourage people to time themselves doing tasks, and it might actually shock you how much time it takes you to do that, which can help you then to better estimate time.
So, do we need to be more accommodating to the time blind among us, or are the TikTok generation wasting our time?
And to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
Look, time blindness is real. I'm going to put my hand up and say it exists. And
I've got both mine up. 100% it does. Definitely exists.
Look, I have been late and a lot.
Not today, though. We told you this started at 4:30.
Exactly. Well, my mum used to change the clock, so it was a quarter of an hour later. So we would get in the car for school. It's been a thing my entire life. And I've got really nice friends who put up with me.
What is going on for you, Miff, during those hours where we're waiting on time somewhere, and you're just like faffing?
Oh, it's not faffing. It's very important business, and you're just getting lost in your head.
But at what point do you clock, this is quite rude?
Well,
no, but that's not.
As I said,
that doesn't, because you're blind. You're blind to all of it. Yeah,
You
you're
think
blind
you're
to that.
doing your best.
Well, that's because then it just mounts and mounts and mounts, and you think that you're doing your best. You're getting on top of it. You're like, yep, I'll get it all together, and then you're just like, I'll always send a text.
See, the thing is, you're both exceedingly lovely people, and I'm wondering if this is just to compensate.
It's just manipulation.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, this is how.
So I feel
get away
bad
with it.
about going where are you?
I didn't believe in time blindness, but I went out on Monday for some beers to watch the Super Bowl, and I told my wife I'd be home in time for dinner, and I haven't been home yet. So, pretty time blind.
Exactly what this is.
The Super Bowl, of course, was on Monday, where Kansas City star quarterback Patrick Mahomes had one of the worst games of his career, but I think we may have found out why. Still not as weird as what I was doing with my Taylor Swift doll.
Is that why you haven't been home?
That's why I haven't been home.
We'll be back with more Project after this. Welcome back. You're watching the Project. Coming up, from Stranger Things to onstage things, Keery, aka Joe, is dropping by with some tunes. Literally, the entire audience here tonight is here to see him. You can get excited.
He's coming up. Before that, time for some more of today's top stories. And 2 Sydney nurses remain in hiding tonight, suspended without pay, after they were filmed saying that they would let Israeli patients at Bankstown Hospital die. Police are yet to make any arrests. Detectives want to watch a full unedited version of the video. They also want to speak to Max Vifer, the social media influencer who spoke to the nurses.
We really need to commit the influencer to paper, and if we're able to do that, then we can work through whether these people are charged or not.
WA's Pilbara coast is on high alert tonight. Tropical cyclone Zelia has intensified to a Category 5 system. It's expected to bring heavy rain and destructive winds of up to 290 kilometres per hour when it makes landfall tomorrow near Port Hedland. Schools across the region have been closed. Flights in and out of Port Hedland have been cancelled.
This one's letting us know it's coming, so just got to prepare.
You see the eye, it's actually off the coast now. It's pretty visible, so it's about the size of the town, so it's coming.
And a viral photo of a monster ute seen driving over solid white lines on a busy Melbourne road has sparked outrage online about how much space these huge trucks take up. There were complaints about how they don't fit in Aussie parking spots. Other people called for oversized warnings and voiced safety concerns. The trucks cost around $200,000. How much space do you need? What's going in them?
Well, you've got to feel strong on the road, I guess.
Yes. Well, I've got to say, though, when I see those huge utes, I just immediately slow down to just a little bit below the speed limit because they're always right at the back of my car, and I'm like, oh, well.
If they could run over you, though.
They probably could.
With that size of the ute.
If you want to look tough on the road, do what I do, and that is ride a bicycle nude. People get It's a real look, you know what I mean? Traffic get around you. Yeah, and sometimes the cops pick you up, so it's a pretty length.
They get around it. No one wants to fall behind you. Though.
No one wants to get behind me. I'm getting overtaken pretty quick out there.
To the FIFA World Cup now, and host nation Saudi Arabia has announced the 2034 event will have free booze.
Sick. Yes. Now we're talking.
Sorry, Nick. It will be booze-free.
That's the opposite.
I read those words in the wrong order.
Changes everything.
Sorry to get your hopes up, Nick, but will this have any effect on attendance?
Football, the soccer one. It's the sport best enjoyed with team colours, face paint and a vuvuzela. And for millions of fans the world over, a drink in hand. But that could soon change. Saudi Arabia has confirmed that in 2034, the World Cup is one cup that will not be filled with liquor.
Everyone has their own culture, and we're happy to accommodate people within the boundaries of our culture, but we don't want to change our culture for someone else.
Okay.
I mean, really, you can't live without a drink?
It's a fair question. Can we live without a drink?
Absolutely, you can have fun without alcohol. You've got your friends, you've got the vibe, you've got the adrenaline.
Football is a very big drinking sport.
Alcohol is not only about drinking, it's about like a socializing with friends.
If you can't go out without having a drink, then you need to dig deep and have a look at your issues.
Alcohol is almost entirely forbidden within the kingdom, and FIFA is unlikely to push back on the issue. In 2022, host nation Qatar said it would allow alcohol to be served inside the venue, only to reverse that decision just days before kickoff. But while Qatar allowed people to buy alcohol outside of Cup events, Saudi's visitors won't be as lucky.
Rather like our weather, it's a dry country.
That wouldn't stop me from going.
If I was to go to the World Cup, I would go for the football.
But I think there would definitely be a bit of a dampener on the whole experience.
So is banning spirits in the spirit of the game?
Well, here's for some sober reflection is the head of sports tourism company Fanatics, Warren Livingston. What does the World Cup look like without booze then?
Well, it'll be very different to previous World Cups. You know, Russia, Brazil, etc. were very much party orientated. Qatar, not so much, but you could still get a beer after the game at the hotels. So it will be very different. Probably not as good, I would say.
But surely it's about the love of the game, right, though, Warren? That'll win out.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know, these tournaments go for, 5 or 6 weeks. People are going for 2 weeks of their holidays. So people want to go and relax and do what they do on holidays. And that's, have a few beers after the game. I don't think drinking at the game's the issue. I think people are used to not drinking in the game in Europe, etc. It's just after the game that, you want to mix with the other fans and enjoy yourself outside and go to nightclubs, etc.
How much bad behaviour is there at the World Cup?
Yeah, not a lot. I don't think that's the reason why they've banned alcohol. I've never really seen much trouble, even with the masses that we've taken over, and we've never really caused some trouble. I think you go to World Cups to be part of the action as well, though, It's not just about the game.
You may not cause trouble, but there's clearly a lot of trouble at the World Cup. Football tournaments worldwide, the Brits, the Germans, they turn up and cause a lot of trouble. How's that going to go down in a place like Saudi?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of that's club related. At World Cups, it's the biggest event in the world every 4 years, bigger than anything I've ever been to before, and so there's a lot of security. But I guess you don't really want to get into too much trouble over in Saudi Arabia, that's for sure. Use your hands.
Now, Warren, a lot can happen in 9 years. Are you hoping Saudi Arabia might do a 180 on this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Qatar, they announced it 2 days before that they were banning alcohol at the game. So by that time, everybody had already booked and was going over. But, I think you watch football or go to a football event, to enjoy yourself. It's a bit like going to Wimbledon. You want to have some strawberries and cream. You want to go over there and have a good time after. So, I don't know.
What's the more unstoppable force, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or British soccer fans in search of a pint?
Yeah. Thousands of boozed up Brits. I think they won't be able to stop them.
Warren, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, in the US, Democrat Congresswoman Maxine Dexter was having a crack at Trump. Now, she says she doesn't use the F word much, and I believe her because I bet this isn't what she meant to ask her supporters to do.
I've been told I have 30 seconds, so I am going to tell you that we do have to. I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
That's a great plan. That's a terrific plan. They finally have a good plan, the Democrats. Normally terrible ideas. This lady's onto something brilliant.
Well done. Well done.
First crack at Trump, last crack at Trump. Go to a break, please, Hamish. I'm stuck.
Now
I'm going to leave
do
you
it.
hanging a bit
Now
more.
you do it.
You're watching The Project. Back in a moment. This is The Project. Welcome back.
Emma Wooler knows her life is going to be cut short. The Labor member for Pakenham has motor neurone disease, but she's committed to serving her community and caring for her family as long as her body allows.
Not long after I was diagnosed, I went out and bought some greeting cards for my children for their 18th, 21st wedding. And I've only managed to write one of those 6 cards because my hands are getting so hard to control that it can take me an hour to write one card, and it's really draining physically and mentally.
What do you write?
Well, just things, saying how wonderful my children are, you know, they're my everything, and how proud I am of them, and that I may or may not be here by the time that milestone comes around, but I love them with all of my heart and I always will.
Do they know that you're doing that?
They do now.
Surprise!
Emma was diagnosed with motor neurone disease in April last year when she was 44. MND affects the motor nerves responsible for movement, swallowing, speaking and breathing. As it progresses, these nerve cells degenerate and die.
When did you first start to know that something wasn't quite right?
I would say just over 12 months before diagnosis. It started off with numbness in my right fingers, and then I would wake up in the morning and I'd have numbness in both hands.
Emma was referred to a neurologist for further tests. Those results revealed the devastating truth that Emma had MND, which is incurable.
What were your first thoughts in that moment?
What about my kids? What do I have to do? Is my will up to date? The other thing I still haven't done yet is plan my funeral, which is something, it's in the back of my mind and it's something that I keep going to do and then I can't. But it is something that's pushing me to say, you need to do this.
Emma now uses a wheelchair at times to help her conserve energy. She's also had to start asking people for help, an act she's not used to.
What is it like to live with MND?
Unfortunately, I have pain, and a lot of that comes from severe cramping in my body.
How do you cope with that?
I think I've worked it out on average that about every 9th day I have a day that I just cry uncontrollably for a bit. Sometimes it's not in the privacy of my own home. Sometimes it might be somewhere in public, and I think I can't control it.
Emma lives with her partner Matt and her 2 children, 17-year-old Sienna and 15-year-old Sage.
What about what's difficult for your family?
If I'm upset, it makes them upset. They find it hard to see me cry or in pain because it hurts them thinking I don't want you to be in pain. However, when I'm at my weakest, they're at their strongest. They pick me up. And I know it hurts them, but sometimes I can't help it. Thank you. And yeah, they're amazing.
Spending time with family is Emma's priority, but she also has a second home she's not ready to say goodbye to just yet. Victoria's Parliament House.
As many of you know, I've faced a few challenges in my lifetime. A stroke at 36, a close political election campaign, and now I face my biggest challenge, motor neuron disease.
Emma's been in government since 2022.
I am so thrilled and honoured to have this role, to represent my community in the Victorian Parliament and to be their voice here in Spring Street and not being part of my community. I think I would be really, really sad. So that's the selfish part. I need them as much as hopefully they need me. I've still got things to do. I'm not finished yet.
Around 2,688 Australians are thought to be living with MND at any one time, as well as Emma. One of those is Neil Danaher.
Australian of the Year is Neil Danaher.
We went on the map 10 years ago. So we now have some of the best researchers in the world for motor neuron disease right here, and that's because of the Danaher family.
You could choose to fight this beast alone in private, but you've been so open and honest with everyone and now with Australia. Why?
I feel like Neil has done so much work in this space. If I can even help him a fraction to raise awareness about this insidious disease, then I guess that's my job. And I also feel that it's important for the Parliament to understand the issues and the problems that people with disability face.
Emma doesn't know how long she has left, but she does know what she wants her legacy to be.
What I want for the rest of my life is to continue advocating for my community for the best I can. And I'm not perfect, and I won't get everything, but I will try. As far as legacy, maybe my children is that.
What a great human.
Incredible.
Great story.
Incredibly strong woman, and raising, we use the term raising awareness. This is real, and people are seeing what she's experiencing in real time, and that takes so much courage. I'm astounded.
She's a beautiful person, beautiful person.
It is time for a break.
Project, welcome back. Now, tomorrow, our comedy trio Sushi Mango is bringing a bit of royalty and chaos to the Aussie comedy scene, and they're joining us live at the desk.
Now, I'm a Celeb shocked us with another double eviction last night as AFL stars Tuohy and Bondi Rescue lifeguard Harrison Reid were booted from the jungle.
Boar's penis with a spectacularly hot sauce.
It fights you. It doesn't want to be eaten.
The goat's anus on top of a ring.
Let's go, H. Let's go.
Chew it.
You got to swallow it. Come on, H.
And Zach and Harrison join us now. Please guys, congrats on lasting so long in there, especially on a diet of seemingly nothing but animal genitalia. Speaking of which, Zach, you gave one of the most iconic lines of the season with this.
How are you with hot sauce, guys?
Not great with hot sauce, but I do love penis, so I kind of balance that.
I think I've heard that before. Have you had much response?
Yes, for the people who know me best, that won't be a surprise that I'm no good with hot sauce. But yes, that's just another excellent memory I've got, eating boar's penis in the jungle.
Now, obviously, when you're in there, you don't have your phone. You get out of the jungle, you get your phone back. How did the messages of support from your family compare to those from your footy teammates?
Yeah, the messages from my family were of genuine concern for my well-being, and there was a lot of laughter then from my teammates, which doesn't surprise me. They're all awful people.
That's what I was hoping for.
I've loved watching you both in the jungle. I've had that experience myself, and I know what a mind-blowing experience it is. But you both got quite emotional in there at different times. What is it about the jungle for you that brought all that out?
Yeah, for me, it was the trials were great. All the obvious challenges were good fun, but so much time to think historically has been a challenge for me to properly regulate. And then you throw in being slightly malnourished and homesick and all those things. It was yeah, you just wanted people to confide in, and we're all more or less going through the same stuff, so you just find yourself saying things that you wouldn't usually say, and it brings up emotions, but it was all good. It was a wonderful experience.
Harrison, you seem to have gone stone cold silent. Is this because you are so emotional?
I know, far out. You know, obviously in the jungle, you're cut off from the outside world, and came out and got my phone back, and the first thing I see is me bawling my eyes out on national TV. So, you know, I try and, you know, look brave up front, but obviously now all of Australia knows I'm a blubbering mess.
Well, you've got so many catch-ups to have, both of you, when you get back to Australia. But Harrison, for you, I mean, after having all of those cameras on you 24/7, will it be nice to get back at work at the beach, you know, with all those cameras on you 24/7?
Well, yeah, no, it's quite different, isn't it? But I guess when I'm back at Bondi, I kind of feel like I'm Rob and Julia, and you know, the people in the rips are like the campmates suffering. So at least I'm in the driver's seat.
Well, I'm a Celeb continues tonight. Right after us on 10 and 10 Play, would you please thank the wonderful Zach and Harrison?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Now, we loved our next guest on screen, and now we cannot get enough of him on stage.
The world first fell in love with Joe Keery as Steve Harrington in Stranger Things.
Ahoy, ladies! I didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavour with me? I'll be your captain.
And aside from being damn good at swinging a bat at slimy creatures, Joe is a musician who, stay with me here, goes by the name Joe. DJO. Joe.
Yeah, it's like my name, but it's different. You know, it's like me.
He also happens to be behind the song of 2024, racking up 1.4 billion streams and still climbing. More recently, he dropped a breezy new single just in time for a trip down under.
I think you're scared of being basic. That's ironic because it's reading like you're even more basic.
Do you please welcome Joe? Now, Joe, if we just focus on that video that we were just looking at, the Jimmy Fallon performance, can you confirm or deny whether or not those are your sisters who are doing the backup vocals?
Those are my sisters. Yeah, that's Kate and Emma. Those are my two sisters.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they as musically gifted as you?
More, I would say. Yeah, they there's Emma. Yeah. They sing on that song, actually. We were doing the background vocals for that song or for some other song, and they live in New York City where we were recording, and we were like, oh, we need people to sing background. And I was like, well, my sisters could come, so they came, and it was me and my friend Adam and Austin, and then my sister. So I thought for in New York, Jimmy Fallon, we just
make it a family affair.
Let's go, come on. Yeah,
so
they were very nice to do it, honestly. They were like, what?
I'm
Very
sure they
shocked.
were pretty excited as well, though. It's a big deal. It's wonderful. And speaking of big deals, you're playing Laneway Festival at the moment, and we've got some footage here that we want to show, and that is of you singing End of Beginning, and everyone in the crowd is just singing along. How does something like that feel?
You know, it's pretty hard to describe, honestly. Something that, the song means a lot to me, and I haven't really played too many live shows, so to come out here across the world with all my friends and to play that song, about this place that has a strong connection to me, and hear people shouting it back at you is like crazy.
But it's not just that. I mean, you entered the studio here, you wave at the audience, and everyone is just in sync, waving straight back at you.
That was kind of severance of us. We were all...
Yeah, it was. I mean, you can't get used to that, right?
No, I don't know. It's just cool that people, I guess, are excited, and I feel just thankful and grateful that people are into it.
Now, that song first came out in 2022, but it didn't blow up until last year. You're a famously offline guy. No socials, really.
Sure, yeah.
How did you find out it had blown up?
My good pal Adam, who I work on the music with, his wife Carolina is a librarian, and so she's very research oriented, and I think she was the first person to really let the two of us know. But I was away, kind of unplugged, doing this other recording trip, and I would get texts from Adam every day, and it'd be like, "Hey, the song's doing pretty good."
Still good.
Hey, the song's doing really good today. Dude, the song is doing very good. So that was pretty
Just
fun.
more and more smiley emojis.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we can't ask you about the final season of Stranger Things, but while you're here, how are you feeling about leaving Steve Harrington behind?
That's a good question. That didn't really dawn on me until the final day that we were working on the show, and it is sad. That's been 10 years of my life, and I've made so many good friends on that show, and people who will be an important part of my life forever. So we'll see. It's still kind of sinking in, I guess. But I'm very excited for this upcoming season. I think people will really like it.
Will you get texts about it as well? Stranger Things going pretty good.
It's coming up.
Joe, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Joe, can you explain the name thing to me? Because
Sure.
you've changed it, or it's a stage name with a D, but it's still Joe.
Yeah, it's still Joe. I when I was releasing the first album, which was just kind of like a bedroom, recorded it, was putting it out, I was kind of thinking, like, what should I do? I kind of wanted people to listen to it. I didn't want people to know it was maybe me directly. So it felt like a way to kind of say, if you know, it's me. But kind of like, Django or something like that. In
So
the
we worked it out with Nick before. We were going to make him Nick, but then we realised we could just silence the N.
Exactly.
Just drop the N.
It's not quite the same effect. Then you might get a different name there. You might not want to do that.
Have there been any experiences where people find out that it's you? Like they're just going on about oh my God, I found this guy, Joe. It's amazing. And they're telling you about you.
No, I have that as not yet. But I'll tell you if it does happen. You'll be the first to know.
Very quickly, you're about to release a new album. It's got a very cool cover. The question is,
thank you.
hanging out the window, is that Joe?
Here's me, white suit.
Is it actually you?
That's me, yeah. I have a harness on and I'm hanging out this window and I had to convince a lot of people to let me do it, yeah.
So you do your own stunts?
I do my own stunts.
Oh. The one you all wave back, he's a dreamboat.
Yeah.
What can't he do?
I don't think there actually is anything.
Or Joe's new album, The Crux, comes out on April 4. You can pre-order a copy of it right now. In the meantime, you're allowed to go totally wild now. Would you please thank Joe?
Thank you.
You can see him at Laneway. That is it for tonight. Please keep a round of applause going for Nick Lodi, Nick Walsh as well. Stick around for I'm a Celeb, and we'll see you tomorrow. That's 6:30. Bye.